So with this one, we're going to consider each of those colors separately. So this one is moving this middle and, sorry, end, middle, end. So the next one is middle, end, middle, end, this way. Middle, end here, and there should be this. So this is the only one that matches. So here's how I've answered this question in 5 steps or less. So step 1, with abstract reasoning questions, one of the strategies that we use is to consider each part as an individual element in the whole picture, and that each part can move in its own direction and using its own pattern. When you do that, what you'll start to see is the picture not as a whole picture that needs to be, seen as a whole. And it's harder to see the transformations in that picture when you do that. But when you look at each individual part, you'll be able to clearly see how it's moving. And it's always easier to then, answer the question. So I'll show you the individual parts in this question. So you've got here a square, right? It's very hard to look at the square and then see how this square is different from this, and then how this square is different from this. Because you might be looking at saying, okay, this looks like an L shape, this is like this is like this, and this is like this. What's the next pattern? It's harder to do that, okay? And also part of step 1 is to realize, okay, well, this is an abstract reasoning. We need to find out what the next pattern is and how we're going to do that. Okay, so the way you're going to do that is to actually consider each part separately. So let's go on to looking at each part. So you've got this circle here, and you've got this also circle here. I'll do that in another color actually. I'll put that in pink. And then you've also got this other circle, which I'll put in green. So you've got 3 parts in this picture that look like they move independently of each other. So let's consider all of them individually. I'm going to take this off so you can see again. And now I'm going to consider them individually. So this is still part of part 1. So I see the picture, I know what I need to do, find which one of these match up, and now I'm going to look at each individual part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. So I'm just showing you all the ways I'm doing it. However, when you do this, you don't need to draw out the lines, but you'll start to do this very quickly by picking out what the individual elements are and seeing how they're moving. And this is how this is the process I use in order to answer these questions very, very quickly. Okay, so let's have a look. So put the orange one here. So we're looking at this one. So from here to here, it looks like this is moving, isn't it? It's moving in this direction. It's moving 1 in this direction. So in that, from here to here, that's 1. And then from there to there, that's 1. So it's like it's moving 1 direction to the right. So if you're looking at this video, it's to your right. And then from there, once it gets to the end, it then goes back to the front. Okay, so that's its pattern. So now that we know what the pattern is, the next picture, it should be here. It should be in the middle. So you're looking at something in the middle. So any option here that's not in the middle pretty much can be taken away already. You can see how quickly it is to get the answer. That's something you can do in under, I don't know, in under 10 seconds, 10, 15 seconds. But I'm going to show you how we go through the rest of them in order to get the answer. Okay, so looking at the second one, so this is the green one. Okay, so this is an element in the picture that's moving by itself. So this one is not going that way, so not going to the right like the other one. This one looks like it's jumping. So this one jumps this way, and then it moves this way by 1. Okay, so it moves from here to here, so that's 1, and then from there to there. And then once it hits here, it needs to jump back. So this one, the grey circle, should be here, and it is. Okay, that also shows that the others are incorrect. At this point, since you've already got 2, I would just tick this. But if you want to go through the rest, just to be 100% sure, you can do that as well. Similar thing, this black dot here is moving one step this way. So now that it's here, it should jump back here. And that is where this next one here is. And because it's moving that way, this is the next one. And so the one here should be this last one here. And you can see that is the case. Okay, you can see here, that's how you do these questions very, very quickly. Just remember to look at each individual dot by itself, not as part of a whole picture, but as an individual element that's moving. Okay, and find out those individual patterns in there, and then you'll be able to answer these questions quickly and also correctly. Just another thing to note, that not always, the patterns aren't always horizontal between each one. It could also be, I'll show you this, could also be vertical as well. So you might see the pattern like that as well. Okay, but in this case, for this particular one, it was that way that we analysed and we found an individual pattern. Okay, so it was horizontal. Okay, so that's how I've answered this question in 5 steps or less.